see how you're going.
Pretty good.
You need someone the other end to test it.
Just the volume, turn the microphone up, or?
Yeah, it's just the distance from the microphone. So I don't really mind.
It's an acoustic room.
Good. I think if you turn the...
So it's about to start, then we're going to get tea and coffee. Wait just a moment. So start means actually I'll start, not you start. You finish, I'll start.
This is a 7?
All right, come and grab a seat, grab caffeination or...
2 hours. It's still half the battery. That's right, there's the battery left, yeah.
Is that water or wine? Well done. Tough day at school.
We're all
Do you eat at school? Is that what you eat? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, teachers program. Yeah. Staff program. Fair enough. All right, let's get started, or we'll be hanging around, not being able to cover off everything that we want to cover off. Good evening and welcome back to part 2 of our digital enablement program, helping businesses write better content, helping to promote this lovely place we call Jindabyne and the surrounding region. Deb's going to kick off with a few words about what the project's all about before I hook in to all the gold.
I work with Snowy Monero Council's Economic Development and Tourism Group, and I've just been asked to run back through the funding program because there's still a little bit of confusion out there in the community about how it's been working. The Department of Industry, the New South Wales Department of Industry, allocated $1 million to the Future Towns program, and that was to be then spread over. They picked 20 towns, regional towns, which they thought would benefit from this funding, so each town got 50 grand. Okay? And this was non-negotiable. Like, there was 30,000 of that component to be devoted to workshops and 20,000 to the actual project itself. I know it sounds kind of strangely weighted, but that's how it was, and there was no negotiating about that. So any money that's not used from either of those components will return to the Department of Industry. And what councils were charged with implementing this, so what councils did was mostly went to their chambers of commerce unless there was some other recognised cohesive business body. In the case of Snowy Monero Council, we went to Cooma and Bombala and Jindabyne. Cooma and Bombala picked place activation because you had a choice between place activation or digital readiness, and the Jindabyne Chamber went for digital readiness. So we had the first base workshop with Todd. We had to engage an approved facilitator, which is Todd. And the first base workshop started on the brief for the Destination Jindabyne website. That went out to expressions of interest, and Duncan's business and his group were awarded the contract. Okay. Now, there was just something else I wanted to mention. And probably the reason that Todd didn't mention it, because he probably thought we knew it, but some of you are new to this, and there is a database out there called the Australian Tourism Database, what's it called? Data Warehouse, right? If you're not listed on that, you should be. If you thought you were listed on that because somebody else put you on it, like one of the RTOs or one of the visitor centres,
Regional tourism organisations.
Yeah.
Listen to the actors there.
Oh, sorry, regional tourism organisation like Tourism Snowy Mountains or the Cooma Visitors Centre or somewhere. If they put you on it, you need to actually start to manage it yourself, because if you don't update it, it will come back to bite you. What happens is your listing will actually go on to australia.com, Destination New South Wales website, and also be distributed to something like 50 other distribution websites. It won't happen overnight, but it does happen. And as I said, you need to make sure your content on that is updated, especially if you're listing prices, because otherwise it will come back to bite you. Okay? One more thing.
news and bad news is you have to be a tourism business to actually list. So
Like accommodation.
you have to be within the categories of accommodation, tour operator, restaurants,
experiences
things
like
like that.
adventures, that kind of thing.
And you can find the information through Get Connected. The program's called Get Connected with Destination New South Wales.
You can actually just Google ATDW, and it will take you straight to the Destination New South Wales website, and you can just register online. And really, it's follow the bouncing ball. It's as easy as putting a post on Facebook. It's really easy to do. Feedback about these workshops and this program, please send it to Karen Cash, Karen C-A-S-H, so it's karen.cash@snowingmonero.nsw.gov.au.
I'll just direct it to me.
Well, you can go to
5 stars, 1 star, I'll take it on.
Yeah. And anything that's relevant to Todd that we get, we'll certainly pass on to him. Last thing, I'd like to thank Todd for actually running these workshops, especially with such a short time frame that we had. And also the bit of extra work he's done above and beyond to make sure that we met the target on time. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. So, part 2, there wasn't part 1. There wasn't here for part 1. Some new faces. I thought you were here. You were here in spirit. No, you came to the facilitation workshop, didn't you? We were talking about the so that's where we were. All right. So part 1, we actually talked about 3 different types of content. We talked about writing, we talked about photos, we talked about touched on video. Part 2, we're going to take it a little bit further. We're going to talk about reviews. We're going to talk about getting your information out via other people's directories. We're actually going to start having a look at analytics and insights, how you can tell that your content's actually working. And I also want to talk about something that in the social media age, people think is really dull and boring, and it really works. Email marketing still works. Still works. So, if you didn't come to part 1, that's okay, because we do have the notes, and provided that we've got your details, sorry, I just have to ask a technical question. Were we taking details via last week? Brad had a tablet, or do you have yours here this week, Bruce? Making sure that we have all of your details and email address. I'll send you a Dropbox link, which is, you've got them, great. Part 1 and part 2, and also the links to anything that I talk about if there's any additional resources. You can R&D everything. R&D, if you're here at the last workshop, you'll know is R&D, research and development, rip off and duplicate. Take everything that's been done before. This is about learning from best practice examples, and it's about finding what other people are doing. So as we go along tonight, please share your experience. If it's good, bad, or indifferent, and if you think that's a waste of time, or you think, yes, I did that and it was awesome, please speak up, because when it goes past just one experience, which is my experience, I can talk about working with my clients and everything in my business, but you're the business in Genevine, so talking about what works for you. You don't have to give away the secret recipe for the 10 herbs and spices. Was it 10 herbs and spices? Who eats? Sorry? 11. This is where you can out yourself, right? So the 11 secret herbs and spices, by that I mean don't give away business secrets, but share what's working. Because this is about lifting a destination. This is about collaboration. And one of the worst Americanisms I've ever heard. We were talking about these the other day. Has anyone got any Americanisms that you really hate? Words that you go, only in America? Has anyone? Yeah? Yeah, no, it's just a pronunciation of aluminium. Right?
Come on. Oh,
What is it?
Canadian. It's all right, she's Canadian.
Yeah, it's not alright for you that you might have just tried to call her an American. Co-opetition. Fanny back, yeah, that's pretty horrible. But co-opetition. Co-opetition is one of the worst Americanisms I've ever heard, but it's stuck with me for the last 10 years. And this was said to me by a guy that was trying to tell the B&B Association in Canberra why they weren't in competition with each other. He said, you're in co-opetition. And I just said, okay, co-opetition, what's a co-opetition? You've got to cooperate before you can compete. Because if we don't get them to Genevine, if we don't get them to the Snowy Mountains, they're going to Victoria, they're going to Queensland, they're going to Fiji, they're going to all all different places to spend their hard earned, to move, to holiday, to work, to live, to invest. So we've got to cooperate. Once they come here, you can pull the knives out, right? You can go for gold. It's up to you. But even once they come here, you've got the opportunity to keep them in your little mafia, your little group of quality businesses that are just like yours. Because I firmly believe not everybody should be promoted. I don't believe in promoting bad businesses with bad customer service that don't make people want to stay longer and spend more. I believe in promoting quality businesses that provide great experiences with passionate operators and people that really believe in what they're doing. The first part of my presentation tonight, I'm looking at reviews, and this really will hurt bad businesses. And it's the exact opposite to good businesses. Tonight, I'm not just going to be talking about tourism businesses, I'm going to be talking about any different type of business. I'm not going to do what I did last time, because as we got about halfway through, Brett looked at me and laughed because there was about 40 people in the room and everyone wanted to say who they are, what they did and why they came, and about 40 minutes later we'd actually got a few introductions. But what I'm interested in is your name and your business. That's all. Nothing else. I know I am interested in you as a person. That will come later. We've only got 2 hours tonight. But your name and your business. Just so other people in the room can see who's in there. There might be opportunities for competition in this room. It's a pretty bad word, isn't it? Do agree, Nicole. Let's start with you. Name and business, name, rank, serial number.
Nicole, like web design, diva, and great photo tutorials.
Web design, diva, great photo tutorials. Thank you.
Oh, well, I've just started working for Bruce just arrived this week.
Sorry to hear that. Because you're about to be very busy and you're about to become what I found out, the pseudo network, chamber of commerce, visitor centre, anything that people need to know. Apparently Bruce is your man. Yeah. That's gonna become you as well. So whatever he signed you up for, it's a whole lot more. Bruce?
He needs no introduction.
Thank you. And Deb, we've heard from Deb coming up.
Hi, I'm Donna. I own the CMX in Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Crew in Gumby.
Fantastic.
Manuela, High Country Fitness.
That's Manuela. Remember you've been meaning to catch up with Manuela?
Oh, that was my second page.
So please take that opportunity to say, I need to speak to him.
Jennifer Butcher, Gigabyte Manor Chiropractic.
Welcome. Are you some?
Chiropractic, it is right. I'm watching.
Elisa Corcoran, Pumpkins Beauty.
Great.
No, not focus me.
Focus Me. What does Focus Me do now?
Sales, marketing, events.
Great.
Lisa Noble.
Thank you, Louise.
Mandy One, Lifestyle Magazine.
Rachel Marston, Inspire Health and Wellbeing.
Beth Dinnerman Babysitting.
Not to be confused with Threadboat babysitting or Parish babysitting. We worked on this before, right?
I'm Brooke and I'm the Marketing and PR Officer for Snowman's Garrison.
Okay.
Gordon Jenkinson, projects with First National Real Estate.
You got it? Great.
Brett, member arts.
And finally in the corner,
Duncan from 65. We build websites and mobile apps.
great. And it's Duncan and Nicole and Matt,
And Fiona's family.
Fiona and Brad that are part of a consortium to deliver the Destination Jindabyne website project. They need your content. Who's already sent these guys something? Put your hand right up. Sent some photos. What have you sent?
I sent an event advertising.
Beautiful.
Contact details, logo.
Brilliant. Who else has sent stuff in?
Hi. So she sent some stuff in, so I thought it something about content, I'm not sure.
Okay. So you got someone else to do it?
Yeah.
Great. For everybody else that hasn't put their hand up yet, this is going to become a new home for reliable, accurate, up-to-date, inspiring, motivational information on Jindabyne. Filling in some gaps that tourism websites may create, because it's not all about tourism. Making it easier than Google, because Google, when you're typing chiropractic Jindabyne, only shows you chiropractors in Jindabyne, but it might actually be after other things. And really looking at how we can show Jindabyne as a compelling destination, not only in the Snowy Mountains, for people that are thinking about coming, going, coming through, passing, stop, stay, spend more money. It is about business. Every little bit helps. And this may not change your business forever, but sometimes you have to participate and put in and do it for the greater good. But this should be about leveraging what you can out of it, making sure that you stand out. A lot of people give their information once and may never do anything again. The opportunity is to say, right, well, what's next and how is this going to stay alive? As part of this project as well, we're having a look at a sustainability model so it doesn't become another bloody funding project. And how can it actually survive past June 30? Because June 30 needs to be day one that it actually gets born. It'll be June 30 plus a couple of weeks to get it awesome. Just to let you know, there's different levels of awesome. And we'll be working through some. I only learned that tonight. We'll be working to try and get your business to one of those levels of awesome tonight. Last week I had handouts, but not much. Oh, sorry, not last week. Last part one, I had some handouts, but not as much systematic information tonight. I'm talking about reviews, and it can get a little bit all over the shop. So I've put a bit of an analog process in it for you. So hopefully that will help you out. That always helps. Let's get that issue there. Alright, everyone's been in this room before, toilet's just out around the corner, there is actual food there, don't run out of caffeine. If the building goes on fire, who knows what to do? Nobody here at the moment. So, yeah, exit fire, the fire exits, follow the fire warden, whoever's there. You don't have time to smoke, it's 2017, you should give up anyway. Who wants to smoke in winter, especially when there's a chance of snow? We won't be taking a break until we actually finish. And if you do have a phone and you can put it onto silent, that would be unreal. However, I'm going to be looking at some examples tonight. Feel free to thumb through and say, all right, well, what is that address for Google My Business? Or I should have a look at the reviews of my business right now. Oh my God, I've never responded to those reviews. There will be one of those moments. You responded to some reviews this morning?
No, not today.
No?
I don't have reviews out.
Okay. Cool. Something happened since I last came here.
So.
Yeah. So I'll be using that as my title screen tonight. It's, the details are in the top left-hand corner. That was yesterday, just in case it hasn't reached low enough in Ginevine. I thought I'd just keep it there. So, content to engage people, content for search. These are the words that we write. We need to make sure that our words come out on our pages. We're using our content across multiple platforms. That it's not just words on pages, that it's information in blogs, that it's content, that it's actually focused on single reasons. We need to make sure that we've got links to other people's businesses across the internet. We need to make sure that we've actually looked at our site from a search engine point of view as well as a people point of view. I said it's time to make sure that your information is mobile. You have to be mobile friendly, especially in a transit destination like Ginevine. If people are travelling through, they're going to look in the 5 minutes after they've left home, not necessarily sitting down and playing it 6 months before. I don't know who does that in their life in terms of trips, travelling and finding out the next place to see and do. But when we need something, we need it now. So this is about the having needed now content and having it in multiple different areas. We talked about developing a digital footprint and making sure that you've got your information out in multiple areas, and it's not just about you. It's not just about your website. Your website is only one of those single places that they can find. Visual first. Visual first. If you're not a great photographer, spend the next dollar of your marketing budget on a professional that knows really how to unlock the magic in what it is that you do. And sometimes, if you're in professional services, it'll actually be you as part of the sell job, part of the story. Your products, if you're actually selling products, how great your products are. Stop taking photos on your smartphone with bad lighting. And your photos really need to tell a story. And I'm not just saying the story is by now. They need to tell the story of that looks great, that's what I want to do. Your photos actually need to answer questions for people and make them move along the consumer buying journey from interest and desire right through to action, conversion, and then word of mouth. And the beauty of it now is people are creating their own photos and sharing via review sites. So how well a job are they doing? Or are we allowed to have one part professional and one part user generated and they can be more authentic? I believe the answer is yes. Make video a big part of what you do. It doesn't need to be a Hollywood blockbuster presentation all the time. But if you were presented with a page of information, 300 words and a photo, and it takes 60 seconds to read it, or you can press play and it takes 60 seconds to watch it, what would you do? Hands up for read it. Honestly, hands up for read it. It's okay. You can, there's someone behind you with their hand up, so it's not just you. Yeah? Yeah? What if you just press play on the video and watch it and listen to it? Yeah? You'd watch the video?
Not 60 seconds.
60 seconds long.
No, 20 seconds over. I haven't got time to sit and watch to commit myself.
You don't have, but you've got 60 seconds to read or 60 seconds to watch.
I'll
What do
read
you do?
fast. The 300 word complex journal, I read fast.
Okay, thank you for finding the loophole in my activity. But if you were to invest 1 minute in content consumption, more often than not, more people are pressing play now than ever because of the time spent online, and in terms of how an individual business will know, you can use Google Analytics, and we can find out about that tonight. Using your video stats and things like Facebook, using video stats through YouTube, watching the actual amount of people that are reading it, comparing it to the time on site on certain pages. You can actually test it and put your information on one page and put your video on the other, and try and direct exactly the same amount of traffic to them. And I personally, and having done it a lot of time, you will get more people engaging in the videos than you will in the text-based content. Other reasons that I know is companies like Facebook and also Google making a lot of money off video-based ads, as pre-roll ads, and also as, I guess, search ads. So time spent online has gone up massively in the video and consumption space. I talked about plugging it all into your digital marketing plan, and tonight, at the end of tonight, I'm going to recap and work out where it all fits in. You need to find at least one thing tonight that you can use and do in your business. We had this talk before about motivating presentations that you go, that sounds really great. Because it's going to be busy tomorrow, just like today was busy, and just like next week it's going to be busy, and it's going to get busier and busier and busier. It's about the prioritization of your time, in my words, to make sure that you are putting customers first, because this is about having the right customers be qualified in your business. That's a little bit of a recap. Let's get stuck into reviews tonight. Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Far Side, there's a few things that I always try to get into presentations. But the number one thing that I believe stops people from getting really engaged in social media is bad reviews. True or false? Anyone got any just clangers in your social media over time? You got one, Brett? What was it? Can you repeat it?
I think I've had two over the years.
Since 2005? Or since when?
Whenever, I can't remember when I got on, put the business on Facebook and all that, but yeah, fair while. But one was last year, and it was the council road was just in an atrocious state, just like all the roads in the region because of all the rain and funding issues and various things.
And it was your fault?
Yeah, it was my fault because it did spoil their whole experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they were ninjas obviously, but they had a little car and they went in, there was potholes and that, and they got down and took pictures that really emphasised the size of the potholes.
But no one ever does that. No one ever takes pictures from a certain angle to emphasise things like trout or anything like that.
Well, they were emphasising the point very well, but it went straight to TripAdvisor, because it's the most recent one. It goes straight to the top. and you know, I was dirty about it, but you know,
But they don't happen all the time.
as
They're
someone
an
said to
anomaly,
me, you
aren't
know, people do read through the other 10 or 20 or 30 whatever reviews that are 5-star or whatever, and they take that into account. But yeah, it does hurt.
they? It knocks you, and I think an abnormal amount of time is actually given and spent on negative reviews. How do I respond and how do I feel about it, and nibble and move on, right? You just respond to it just like you're responding to a good review. Some people that you're never going to keep happy, but I still think they deserve a response. And tonight I'm going to give you a process in which I believe that you could follow that allows you to move on and focus your time on more important things. A lot of different reasons to be looking at reviews. I'm interested in the reviews that influence friends and family, because social reviews will always come up first. If I've left a review on Facebook or Google or TripAdvisor and I'm logged in at the time, reviews from my friends or family will come up first. That's the power of social influence. I'm interested in how they influence search engines. The more Google reviews that you have, the higher ranking that your Google My Business place will be given over time if you get good scores. So you can actually use it as a search engine optimization tool. It influences your brand. What do people actually think about it? Even for a small cafe or a professional service business or a chiropractor, if there's 20 or 30 people leaving reviews, they must be popular. 20 or 30 people? How many customers do you reckon you have in a year in your business? Hundreds and hundreds? Thousands? It represents a very small percentage. But people look at it, and these are indicators and signs that you're running a great business. So thinking about what reviews actually say about your business, rather than just what the reviews say themselves. We're talking about improving the overall look and feel of your business online and using reviews to do it, because reviews are other people's time, but they don't come instantly. They will.
I think I have a valid question. Are reviews able to be deleted ever?
Reviews can be responded to, but you can only ever delete something that's in your own space, and reviews happen in other people's spaces and are normally aggregated through to your space. By that I mean you can report, block or ban anything that is libelous or wrong. On TripAdvisor you can report it, and they actually have a complaints process. You can do it on Facebook. It's very, very hard to get something off. In Google it's nearly impossible. There are other sites out there like Zomato and Urban Spoon that operate for cafes and other places. But I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories about, oh, that's my competitor and they've never stayed here. I've heard a lot. How you deal with it is you out-optimize them by spending your time and effort to get better reviews, and then those reviews get buried. They get buried. Here's a process, and I'm feeling patriotic, so I've got to go green and gold. It's a 7-step process. You know why it's a 7-step process? Lucky sevens. Sure. Just lucky sevens. I reckon because if it was a 3-step process, you go, it's not that easy, but if it was a 10-step process, you go get stuff. So, 7 steps, and the good part about these is this is the setup steps, and this is the get on with it. So once you get on with it, there's only 3 things left to do, which is ask for it, incentivize it, and reward it, and evaluate it. Should you pay for reviews?
No.
Some people pay for reviews?
Typical outsourced people.
Gordon, what's been your experience?
Oh, I haven't, but some people
Know about
pay for review. I just see recently some of the bloggers, for instance.
Yeah, sponsored
I've got
posts.
500,000 friends, and they're getting paid, and companies are now doing the background checks, and they haven't got 500 friends, and they're not getting results, and they're getting sacked.
Yeah. There is a bit of smoke and mirrors in this space. I wouldn't pay directly for reviews, but we've been doing it the whole time because we've been asking people to try our product or our service for the cost of trying our product or our service, or an introductory offer, or a discounted offer, or a freebie, or especially when it comes to media. If you're hosting a journal on a famille, or come and try my business, that's in return for a review. called a story, and you're asking for them to tell it under their own lens. But there's actually smarter ways, I think, that we can do it. And no, you should never directly say, I'll give you $10, will you leave a review? That's John Laws, that's radio cash comment. All right, there's laws around that sort of stuff. But even that, it's called advertising. So we need to make sure it's authentic as possible. So as we go through, that's how business is actually, by the way. Tonight I found some of the best clip art or stock photography that demonstrates exactly the reality of business. That's what everyone does. So the first thing that you need to do in this 7-step process, and all of these steps are here, is to actually find out where all the places are about you with reviews. One of the simplest ways that you can do is Google or look in the popular hangouts. So the popular hangouts, Facebook, Google, TripAdvisor, and this is the least often engaged in space because people don't know about it, because it's linked to, might be a Google Plus page, might be your Google Maps page, might be your Google My Business page, you might call it whatever you like. It's actually your Google My Business page that has reviews on it. Anybody with a Google account can leave a review on a business of any other business that has a Google listing, whether or not you put that listing there. If there's not a listing, they can start a listing by leaving a review. Hope that first one's good, hey? Hope they have your correct website address and phone number. And so what you need to do, the first stage is actually to sift through and go and find some of these places. And depending on what your industry that you're in, there might be industry-specific sites that you actually need to look for. They're the big ones. The first two apply to any industry. If you have reviews in Facebook and Google, you're 75% the way there, honestly. For tourism, yes, TripAdvisor is a massive player in the game, but they're mainly ones that are specific to you. Are there any industry-specific review sites that you know about? Is there any ones for schools, maybe, or real estate, or?
Rate My Agent, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Rate My Teacher, that sounds like a quality site because no one's ever biased about that, are they? And they're always waiting to just after they have a really outstanding a moment with a teacher to go and rate their teacher. And this is the problem with some review sites. They can just be hate sites. So spending time on the good ones that are going to influence the most amount of people, that's what we really need to think about. So to find them, literally Google them. Google your business name and reviews. Literally do that. Reviews on, insert business name here. Or look for reviews on yourself, but this is actually just a bit of a self-search mission.
There's a lot of apps sort of starting to do reviews, aren't they? They're the hard ones to find.
Yeah, they're tough. Most apps will normally get reviews from a web-based source though. So in-app reviews, yeah, tough one. So I'm going to put them under here. If you know of any specifically, are there small batch distillery review apps out there?
No, there are restaurant apps that are starting up that you kind of have to have the app on your phone to start looking at the reviews on the app. Do you know what I mean? So you have to get about the app.
Yeah, so go for the numbers here and try to scoop up the big ones first, and especially in the places that you own. For example, in TripAdvisor, if there is reviews that have been created about you and that you don't own, go and register your actual page and claim it. The same applies for Google, the same applies for Facebook. So people can actually leave reviews against a location that is masquerading as your business page. And if they have left reviews against the location, logged in as a business, you can go and claim that location, which is your business, and merge it back into your business page. And the reviews will be maintained. Any of the content and everything else will be lost, but you can actually merge it back in. So have a think about that. If there is a specific example that you've got that's outstanding, you can do it, or you can register for things like the owner's page and go in there and claim it. I'm going to talk about Google My Business specifically. Once you've claimed it tonight, you need to update it. As soon as you own it, then you can participate in the conversation. Should you respond to every review? Yeah? Yeah? Anyone for or against? Anyone on the, should you respond to every review you've found online?
I do.
Acknowledge. Yeah, why do you respond to everything? Why do you subscribe to the always respond?
I just think it's important to acknowledge those persons that can, whether they're good or bad. Much easier if it's a Facebook one, sometimes I'll just acknowledge it. Thanks for coming in, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. If it's a TripAdvisor and there's issues that need to be discussed, I'll discuss them, answer them all, always give them a benefit of doubt and then leave on a fairly positive note.
Yeah, I'm all for the response that everything can. Once you've updated your information and you've put all your own stuff in there, respond to everything. Even if it's old and really outdated. The oldest review I've ever got something to respond to is 7 years. Do you want to know how it started? We actually were in a workshop and we came up with this line. Sorry, just new to the internet. I didn't see that this review was actually up here. I thought that was a pretty funny start because basically he goes, well, do you want to know the truth? Pretty lazy and I've been ignoring it for 7 years. He goes, no, it's been there. I just didn't want to do anything about it. I said, don't say that.
So I legitimately did that. Like I didn't know that there was reviews, and then someone showed me there was reviews about, I reckon only about 8 months ago on
Yeah.
High Country Fitness.
Great.
And I've responded to everyone that came in, and there was ones from like 6 years ago. But I legitimately did.
So just so you know, they would have got a notification saying that you've finally responded.
Yeah, because I even got comments back.
Yeah. So what it does, what this step number 3 in terms of responding, it actually floats the old reviews back up. So it's actually a good thing. And then starts that going again, but then you've got to move on. But legitimately, I believe you should respond to everything. Here's some do's and don'ts. Remember, I'll share all of this content, the presentation, and also the good content checklist tonight. If I want to punch on, just say no worries. Here's my phone number. Give me a ring and let's talk about it. It's just customer service 101, de-escalating problems. Be factual. I think you should always finish on a positive note. I think that's great. They're exactly the same sort of things, but all static reviews. So what I mean by static reviews are things that have been printed, have a date there, respond to them straight away. If they're just comments in like a post in social media, yes, possibly no. That's totally different. Responding to a comment is totally different to responding to a review. So I'm just thinking about here. I've seen reviews the same. Glad you really enjoyed your dinner here. Do you know what Thursday nights?
Yeah.
We actually have a special. Tacky as. So certainly for something like a cafe, but even for any types of businesses, like overdoing it, just going, oh, they were having a nice chat, you're going into salesman mode. I don't know if you're that great. So have a think about actually creating some balance. Disclosing personal information of customers, true, it happens. If you're ever feeling, I know I've used this example, anybody here ever stay at the Capital Executive Apartment Hotel in Canada, or know the guys that own it and run it? The second one, does anyone know the guys that own it and run it? Oh, cool. So, go to TripAdvisor, and if you're having a bad day, and if for any reason, your reviews are getting you down, go to the Capital Executive Apartment Hotel on TripAdvisor. The reviews are amazing. The responses are priceless. Everything from 1 star through to 5 stars. There is so many lessons to be learned on that page.
Really good responses then.
Including, thanks for being another TripAdvisor idiot that thinks that you're allowed to say anything on the internet. Well, so am I. Let's go. And responds to every single one of their comments or complaints.
I've always wanted to do it. I love it.
So, you may never do it for Bill Gummy, but you can live vicariously through Capital Executive Apartment. Go and read it, take a Bex and have a good lie down, because some things that are said on that page should never be said.
I've always wanted to say, if anybody's made a comment that's a little bit off, I've always thought it's fantastic. I want to let them know that, great, I'm very happy that you've left this review, because that'll mean people who think like you won't come. Can't I put that?
So this is about creating good content for your business, and imagine a world where other people are going to actually write little reviews about your business and spend 10 minutes of their valuable time and help you promote your business, good, bad or otherwise. All come into the church of reviews, so you are all welcome. So depends how you position it, and depends on how you want to think about it. But you know, having a process and having a response strategy is what we need. Fake answers getting other people to respond or having a canned response. You know, that's the job for that's the job for the big banks, not for small business. So making sure that you actually do some things. If you can entertain people through it as well, even the more better for it. All right, so you've got to track your reviews. This is the final step of the consolidation phase. So step 1 to 4 is just getting up to speed and just consolidating. How to track it? Literally, get all your review sites and chuck them in your favourites, or chuck them into a spreadsheet. How many reviews there is? You can actually get review aggregation software. There was a time that there was a little link in Google, and for most people it's no longer there. But if you actually have Google My Business set up, you can get your data from them, and they say how many reviews and average score. They actually used to pull together multiple review sources and tell you how many reviews from what site you're getting, the average score from that site. They don't do that anymore. There are review aggregator sites where you can use to manage multiple reviews. I haven't used any. I've used a couple in the retail space. One's called Trustpilot, the other one's called Yotpo, Y-O-T-P-O, Trustpilot and Yotpo. They cost money, so what they allow people to do is you can send it to them, they leave a review, but they can do it being logged into Google or being logged into Facebook. So you can actually direct them off to one of the spaces to leave a review, and then what you do is you plug the sites in that you want to be tracking, including TripAdvisor, and all of the reviews come back to one spot, and you choose which ones then you can remarket via your social media, via your website, or via other channels. So have a think. If you really want to get into it and it matters to you, have a look at some review aggregation software. There's such a thing. And this is the manual way of doing it though. Set up email alerts, so making sure that your email address, Facebook is sending you email alerts, so under settings, alerts, new reviews, under Google, in My Business, you want to set up alerts and make sure it's going to your email address and not just that crazy email address that I know to log into at gmail.com. Making sure that it's actually your details. Periodically check in. Would anybody be willing to invest 1 hour a month to check all your reviews? Yeah? Break it down. Make it easier. Do it for 15 minutes a week. Don't commit to 1 hour. Just do just 15 minutes a week. That's all you need to do. And then in a 5-week month, you've got, 15 minutes off. But just 1 hour a month to improve your review rankings and ratings. But just by knowing that they're there and tracking them isn't going to do anything for anyone. People aren't just going to magically go, I had a great experience with you, I'm going to leave a review, catch you later. Has anybody ever walked out of your business saying, I'm going to go online right now and leave a review, I think it's fantastic?
Yeah.
Okay, so times have changed, right? So this is what we need to be doing. We need to be encouraging people like that.
But I won't ask for it.
Why not?
I hate TripAdvisor. I've got quite a good rating, I've got no problems. There's the odd bad one like Rydges.
How many people work in your business? Is it just you or is there other people?
Oh, about 5 or 6 in summer, about 25 in winter.
Cool. So out of the 5 or 6 in summer that isn't you, can you find somebody that loves asking people to leave reviews? Because I'm going to tell you that even if you don't love doing it, get someone in your business to do it and incentivize them to do it.
We've been there for 5 years. We've had 5 years of it, and I wish there wasn't anything like a review. To be honest, I'd rather just do a good job, and people enjoy it and come back, because it's so fickle. It's such a double-edged sword. Socially, it's great when it's going well.
But what if you just ask the good people?
And then it sits.
But what if you just ask the good people? I'm not telling you to ask the bad people. I'm telling you to create a biased process where you make your business look as awesome online as it is.
Personally, that's just me, and I think everyone who works for me feels the same. I would struggle trying to solicit reviews out of my guests.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I don't like it at all, but...
hopefully we do a good enough job that they will do it anyway.
But I think we have to live with it though, unfortunately.
I know we have to live with it.
And I get told all the time, you've got to seek reviews, and TripAdvisor give you cards that that you're supposed to leave.
I've actually taken all the stickers off our windows.
Yeah, it's a bit like begging.
Yeah, I've taken the urban spoons, the Marto, and we had this, oh, it was becoming out of control. Everyone has a stick up, and I'm like, no, that's it. No more. So that's just me.
So about
That's
those,
okay.
about those reviews too, I find, like you said, about probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, I just Google Moomba Hut reviews. And what I find is that a lot of people that come have these little blog sites.
Yeah.
Some of them have got really big followings, and they don't say when they're leaving, oh, I'm a blogger, I'm going to do a story or anything like that. And it might appear on page 8 of where I've scrolled through.
Do you have a guest book at Moomba Hut?
Yeah, I do, and it's been really good for me. It always has been. I've had it since day one.
Yeah, so instead of asking for it, if you just had something there that said, please sign a guest book, and if there's a place on the internet where you love to leave reviews, we'd love to see it as well. This is the ask for it stage. So you can skip this stage, but this is the marketing of your review process. Because if you can get more reviews, that influence more people to walk in your business and make money, that's what I'm interested in. Doing it in a genuine and authentic way that doesn't make you feel like a tacky salesperson and actually meets your need to get the best people telling the best story about your business. This is online word of mouth. This is putting the firelighter under your online word of mouth.
One thing I've always wondered, I've been in business for a long time, and I've got quite a few guest books, and I used to put the reviews, the comments on my webpage a long time ago when I knew how to do it. Now it's all changed, I don't know how to do it. Is it legit, or what is the best way to share those reviews that are all written? Or is it okay to share someone's reviews when it's written down, but they haven't put it on any?
You just don't put their surname or.
Oh no, I don't put their surname, just their name.
So you're 100% allowed to repurpose something that's been left somewhere.
Okay.
Normally, so identifying the great feedback, putting it on a testimonials page of your website, it's going to contribute a really small percentage towards the overall effort of marketing this space, but people want to know what's happening and what's been going on. How far should you go back? People probably won't read further than 10 or 15, but if you want to show that you've been doing it for a really long period of time, this is one of those historical markers to show people have been happy forever. We need to think about the story it tells.
Where do you put that? Would you put that on TripAdvisor, or would you put that on
you
Facebook?
would put it on your own website.
Only on your own website.
Only on your own website. So you're not allowed to create and put up testimonials in other people's space, like Google reviews. They can only be put up by the people that have actually created them. Another way I've seen it done is people taking photos of reviews that have been written down and then using those in social media to spread the good word. So you might pick the best review you ever got in 1996 and just saying, just cleaning out the shed and, these people, and it was...
But there's not an app you can do it because they've got to get to my website. I'm trying to get them to the website.
That's a great thing, though, the little section, the little column in your business book that says, little...
Are you happy for us to share?
Can you share, we'd love this.
One of the best ways that I've ever had someone ask for a review from me when I was on a wine tour in the Margaret River, I looked for the 50 people on a bus wine tour, and I found Wine for Dudes. Has anyone ever been on Wine for Dudes in Margaret River?
No.
So, if you're going to go there, go on Wine for Dudes.
Really nice. Wine for dudes. We're women.
Dudes and dudettes. Girls can be dudes. This is really it's all about equality. It's the general dude, the royal dude. It's not just the man dude. So Wine for Dudes is just for people that wanted to go and fix it right away. If you've had a rad trip, go to TripAdvisor.co.uk, as it was at the time, and leave a review for Wine for Dudes Margaret River. That'd be ace, thanks. P.S. Give us 5 stars. Oh, TripAdvisor. Why would you go and leave a review for a business in the Margaret River? This was 2008, now it's 2017. Why would you leave a review for a business in the Margaret River on a UK website? And, how many people actually do that? And Facebook had only just come up about 2 years beforehand. You couldn't leave reviews. There was no such thing as a business page. They came in at about 2008, 2009. And I went to that page, they had about 150 reviews, everybody singing their praises. And I thought, I'm going to use this thing a little bit more to actually find cool places and things to do. It was a really simple ask, little piece of paper. As I walked off the bus, they go, hey, here you go, any questions, let us know. I said, yeah, have a good day. Yeah, that's great, thanks. That little moment. Out of 10 people on that bus that day, how many do you think would have left reviews? One?
Probably 6 or 7.
6 or 7?
Oh, these days, maybe not then.
I reckon would have been 1. I reckon these days, if you can get 10% of your customers to leave reviews, you're outperforming averages.
Prue would get lots. I've sent lot of business to Prue there. She takes
Wait
pets.
a minute. Have you ever left an online review about
No, I
prison?
haven't.
Will you do that tomorrow for me or tonight?
I will.
You promise?
I will.
That's being filmed. So, if a business is good enough to recommend in word of mouth, go and give them some love online and leave a review. There's nothing better, I believe, than a review from another business owner. Joe Average doesn't know that you're another business owner.
There's not many people that put
Pet-friendly
pets up, pet-friendly places. Prue's one of the few places, especially up the Alpine Way. I reckon if you connected to some of those pet-friendly websites or websites for people travelling with pets, you're just creaming.
Well, there's only going to be 2 or 3 people in this room that are going to go and leave reviews tomorrow. That's the averages, right? If you can make it more, and actually, it's the giver's gain, right? The more you give, the more you'll get. I think it's a fantastic cooperative marketing tool, because if you actually leave a review and then email the person saying, I just left a review for your business, I think you're doing really great. You're just going up in there, what businesses am I going to recommend next time, right? Provided that they're good businesses that you would align with, that would be part of your own business referral mafia. Never recommend a business that's just asked for it, that you wouldn't believe it, or you'd recommend them yourself. A post-purchase email at the register. Think about on your website, a survey. Think about all the different places that you can ask for it, because you have to ask for it for more than just one place. And you've got to do it in a style that matches your brand and matches your business, but you have to ask for it. If you have asked for feedback and you've incentivized, I'm going to move on to this next, there are some T's and C's, there's some rules and regs around it. Here's a really simple example. This is Ian Upper Lambton in Redbow. Basically just saying, pick your poison, click on the one that you like, post-date email that went out. $30, $40, $50 people staying a day. If you got 1 review a day, that was 7 that week, 7 the next week, 7 the week after. But if you didn't send 40 or 50 emails, you wouldn't get the 1. So you definitely have to be doing this. You have to be asking for it. Don't hassle people, because no one likes to be hassled. But you're allowed to ask at least once or twice.
I have something I think is valuable. I have clearly someone who's a really big fan at the gym, and I've only just realised it lately, because he comes in and he goes, we should all write reviews, and then he wrote a review, and then he told his buddy, and then there was another review, and then he came in a week ago and he said, you should tell us all to do different competitions and we'll give reviews, and he's all about the reviews and the check-ins. So he checks in every time he comes to the gym. And now more people are checking in every time they come to the gym. And it's like this thing. And they'll check in and review.
And how great is mine?
And I didn't do anything. So
imagine if you asked for it. What would happen if you actually asked for it?
a fan, which most of us in here are, and like every business finds a fan, then the fan does the work.
It's the super promoter, also known as the fan, but the super promoter.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about a model that we use in our business. It's called the paid, own to earn model. Just to split all of your marketing tactics in, paid, own and earn. Everything that you do can fit into one of those buckets, paid, owned or earned. Paid are things to find strangers. Advertising, things that you're hoping to meet people and you're paying money to meet them. Advertising. Owned are things that you own, like your website, like your Facebook page, social is owned. Things that you can control. Even if you've got print material, that's owned. Your photography, your video, that's all owned, that's all things that you have. Earned is things that your customers control. Testimonials, word of mouth. But what you need to do in your own space is create something that you can own, that they can give you earned feedback. If not, it would just be guesswork. So doing things like a competition, everyone's got a price, and I want to find it right now. To leave a review for something that's good, and not great, but something that's good, and I'm willing to pay. It can be goods or services, it can be a price, it can be something in return for something else. What's your price? Who would not take any amount of money, kickbacks, freebies for getting involved?Ho would just say, I would never do that, you can't pay any amount of money.
So it's only good before start at 5.
Sorry?
Are you saying this is only a good thing? It's not a really
I could be good or great, but you might just say, I'm not that sort of person, either A, I don't leave reviews, or B, you can't buy me. Nobody? Anybody? Okay, good. I'll just give you a value. Would you do it for $5 value? Think about being in a cafe, think about being in a chiro, think about being in well-being. Would you do it for $10 of value?
Depends what the product, service.
Something that you like from the person that you like. You're thinking about $10? $10, I'm getting there. $15? It's really tough over this side of the room. I'm not a licensed auctioneer, but a coffee costs, a coffee costs money. A coffee is like $4 or $5. $4? Oh, sorry. $5, okay, so you do it for $5. Let me start again. Who will do it for free just because you like them? Who will do it for free? Okay. But I'm willing to pay, so who would do it for $5 worth of value or money? $5? You're pretty cheap, don't you? That's alright. You take $5. How long is it going to be of your time? $5? Couple minutes of your time?
So what if they just overtly said to you, I'll pay you $5 to do a review, or you're saying
$5 of value, of return value.
Yeah.
5% off the
It's
next
like,
product.
think
5% off a
You've got
discount.
your coffee card and you get.
You do it for a discount?
You buy 10 chits, you know, if you go and leave us some feedback, we'll clip you a couple on your coffee card.
Yeah.
Leave
So
us a
it's
review,
not
yeah, I'll give you an
cash.
extra stamp. That's the equivalent. Cash or in-kind value.
Or your sales.
Who's higher than $5 or $10? Who wants more? Or you'd be happy to do it for $5 or $10 value? Yeah. Some people only do it if they really love them, and even in that even if it's 5 minutes, you've got to go out of your way, and it's going to be your thing, and there's a lot of hurdles in this. But what if you had some sort of behind the counter up your sleeve incentivisation program for people there, e.g. a competition or getting your super promoters or fans to do it? It's about having multiple tactics or irons in the fire. Incentives and rewards you do need to be careful with, right? But you could have a competition, you could have a repeat purchase, you could have a free return offer. If someone's leaving a review, you want them to remain a customer. This isn't a one-off and see you later. Share it with a friend, a value add, show us a review, just left, and is there something else I can do for you at the time? What's something you could do at Wild Brumby if I was leave a review right now, and in return for that we will value add to something. What's a value add? A schnapps? Yeah. An extra free tasting?
I find this really hard to
Agree with?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do. No, I seriously do, and I come from a long background in customer service and marketing.
Yeah.
And I know I'm very old and you're very young, and things change. But I just find
There's not as much gap between us in the terms of the way that we think.
Yeah, I just find this payment for comment, as you said, it's cash for comment. Whether it's I'm listening to you and I'm just thinking, no, it just doesn't sit well with me.
So if you
But I totally, everyone's welcome to do their own thing, but just...
Yeah, that's right. So out of these 7 steps, if you don't need to incentivise or reward it, skip this step. As long as you're tracking it. But if you skip it, I'm not going to ask for a step, and I'm not going to incentivise a step, and I'm not going, like, you're already responding. right now, you're just working on luck.
No, I'm working on providing a really good product
Yeah?
and
But it's lucky if they've got
satisfying
one.
the guest's needs.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will be enough for them to prompt.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they will do it for you. So, okay, not like it's hope. And I'm fine with that. I think that is what we should all be doing. And I'm just saying, when can we actually amp it up? And you don't have to incentivise it. Quite frankly, in my business, I don't. In other businesses, we have helped them do it. It'll work differently depending on the type of business they're in.
I guess it's just a new way. I said the coffee card and that, 10 coffee cards and you get one for free, or your return guest, you get one for free. At Jindabyne Accommodation Centre, get a return guest, especially if they've given a review or something like that. Come back next time, we'll give you 5% off. It's just a,
Surprise and delight is one of
it's
those.
building that loyalty sort of type thing.
Yeah. That's what it is, it's loyalty marketing. Surprise and delight is actually one of my preferred formats. Not advertising or promoting the fact that you have a rewards program, but having something in your back pocket. And there's a cafe that's below our office. When people leave reviews and they know who it is, they actually point it out at the cash register and say thank you. And every now and then they'll pull something out.
That's different. That's totally different. And
No, that's structured.
No, I would do that. I would do that. So I have no problem with that.
So you're already doing it? We're on the same page, Brett.
You said you look for authentic.
Yep.
That's authentic. Some of those other things, I was like, really? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Authentic for you is rewarding them after they've done it, not rewarding them to do it.
Yes, so I'm not into the incentivation, I'm into the appreciating you've done a good job and you've got a good content opportunity.
Well, I was going to say that, we don't have to do all of that ourselves, but straight away, like today, Alessa's done a review for me, I've done one for her. Oh, geez, I've been thinking about that, let's do it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm sitting here now going, I'll just write one for you, absolutely. Who's here tonight? I would review everyone who's business I'm happy with. But that's the same sort of thing, like going, well, and I said, would you do it back? Do you find that uncomfortable to say, if you're happy with a business service,
No, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
That's
Catch the comment.
Yeah, but it's the asking people to do it.
Yeah.
Can I say something, Donna? 2 years ago, I knew nothing in town, and I was in town, and I was hungry, and I'd been scanned all day, and I was not in for a bad meal, and I knew nothing about any restaurant. I did a Google, and it came up with TripAdvisor, and I went through all the reviews, and it's the only way I found a place. I believed it was going to be a decision.
Where'd you go?
Where'd you go? It was the wrong day.
I thoroughly.
Now much
I'm
is
not saying
refined.
we live as I
And I'm really happy for someone to say,
Yeah.
can you please...
No, I like this conversation. This is
And I would never leave a review without someone reminding me.
This
to
is
do it.
really useful
And I have to
and-
do it if they remind me.
what we need to understand is, remember, like I said, it's a percentage game. A certain amount of people do it, a certain amount of people don't. It's about creating the structure in your businesses that are the things that are right to allow people to create the content for you. The last step in this 7-step process is the evaluation. And we've been evaluating it right now. But have we actually increased our reviews over time? And it's not just by saying, I think we've got a few more. It's going back to that tracking stage and saying, we've got a target, we want to get 10 this month, and we want to average between 4 and 5 stars on Google, 4 and 5 stars on TripAdvisor or whatever platforms. Because as soon as we're evaluating, all that's doing is telling us what is the next step to do in stage number 5. So we just rinse, lather, repeat. We've already done the consolidation steps, which were 1 to 4, and now we're on to the ask for it, incentivize or reward, track and evaluate it, or just measure it and evaluate it. So you get to skip those 2 steps if you're not actually going out and asking for it. Just continue to evaluate it. By responding to things and being active in the space, you will over time get more reviews as a result of your engagement. We're talking about acceleration steps here. How can we actually speed that up?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll take 2.
So in a sense, everyone's going in a review and not review, but in effect, how does it affect your optimization of your website and getting the rankings?
Massively.
Yeah.
So Google uses it as a search signal.
If you're working to get your ranking up, then but if you're not having.
It's one of the top 5 tips to improve your local search.
In the sense of if you're and you've got reviews, can it get you?
Yes.
How quickly can it get you up to 3?
Speed is a different answer.
Yeah.
But
And how much work would it then innocence review?
if you're a destination business, so you're using something like Google My Business,
Yeah.
Google will look at the search signals from Facebook reviews, and I'll show you an example up here in just a moment. They'll use search signals from Facebook reviews, Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews. They look at the quantity of reviews and the score, and they will actually aggregate those in terms of affecting your listings. In terms of speed,
Yeah.
changing your search rankings can be a really slow beast. It could take months. Months and months and months. But if you're committed to it each month, you should be helping yourself go up the rankings, especially if you're a geographically located business and you serve customers from your location, so rather than just being a virtual business.
Is that ranking also based on, so you type in Jinnabine chiropractics, comes up, and then you scroll down,
Yeah, so
you click to the next page, and then you click that one. Does that then...
Your rankings will always be based on keywords and content and structure and all the normal search rankings, but they call it a search signal. So if you've got all of that other stuff in place, search signals are the other things that Google looks for in terms of understanding, as well as backlinks.
Yeah.
If you've reviewed another business, would you backlink to their business from your website? The answer should be probably. If I'm willing to recommend the word of mouth and give them a review, how can I actively promote them on your website? It might be through an article in your news talking about here's a great business that's really pet friendly. So if you're buying a house from me with pets and you need to go and take them for a feed and you're hungry, here's some pet friendly businesses that go in pet friendly houses. You've already done that article, haven't you, Gordon? If you want to bore yourself to tears but know the law, ACCC has a guide to online reviews, and I checked this last night because this is the same guide that I used in 2013. I thought, surely it's been updated. The law has started to move and change. One of the other things that was said before in terms of astroturfing, it's called, spoofing, so actually reviewing yourself and saying how great I am. So astroturf, fake grass, it's always green. So fake turfing. And also paying people, a massive no-no, paying people to write reviews that have never used your business before. So you can go online and actually pay review farms. If you get too many reviews too quickly, that'll ping TripAdvisor, it'll ping Facebook and ping Google, and you can actually get penalties for it. So you need to grow organically over time. Having a reviews competition may or may not be in your favour. But the concept of sound, but you just need to make sure it's done in a
I was just going to say before, I've just seen this thing on Facebook come up now and it says, your business responds quickly to reviews.
Yeah.
And I've only just seen that starting to come up, but I could start rating that says you respond quickly, and is that good?
So that's your message response time. If you respond, I believe it's like less than, I think it's 90% of instant messages in less than an hour or less than 2 hours. It'll have the badge that comes up saying this person responds quickly. If you don't respond quickly, that just doesn't come up. So yes, that can be important to a certain number of businesses. One of the major changes around reviews is Facebook has actually started taking reviews and remarketing them. You might have seen orange and green and blue reviews come up with stars. They've actually pulled reviews and made them look really nice, and you can turn them into ads. You can advertise your reviews, right?
Jesus.
The other thing that they've introduced is they're spending a lot of time on their recommendations engine. So you can actually go out to your friends and say, can anyone recommend, insert keyword here? And that'll go out to your friends and they can respond in a structured manner. And everyone can give you their recommendations, but guess what will also pop up? Advertised locations that have good reviews. So the next thing that will come out in Google advertising is actually paying to be promoted when people ask for recommendations for things. It's how social works, but it's also how Facebook and all of these sites work. They have to make money somewhere. Consider it as part of your pay tactics, but remember you've got to earn it first before you can pay to re-promote it. Reviews. Got in the trenches on that one. But I think it's really, really important. It's about having your customers create content. Oh, it's still the same, it hasn't changed. Sorry, this was meant to be live. Maybe we'll check with the guys at KT, they need to update their games. Alright, So again, I'm going to continue to say the percentage of people will respond to email. Who gets a newsletter or is subscribed to anything from a business and they still read it? Anything? Quick raise of hands. What do you subscribe to?
Lots of that CrossFit and ski.
Fitness stuff. Great. What do you subscribe to, Chris? Fitness stuff. What do you subscribe to? Shopping, yeah.
But I delete them all. I don't read them.
It's like a nootropics, things for your brain to work better, think
Good
faster.
for you. What do you subscribe to?
Pete's electric mountain bike report.
Something that's a bit zany? Is it funny or is it just straightforward?
No, it's just talking about all the innovation with
Around electric mountain bikes? Want to subscribe to some of the fitness?
No.
Client journals? What do you subscribe to? Digital marketing? Business and photography? Wine? Stuff? God, what do you subscribe to? Wine and things to drown my sorrows. Hard liquor, all different forms of synthetic drugs. Not you. I'll move on. People still have email. People still read email, but only the things that they're interested in. If they're interested in you, you can still use an email to engage them. The Facebook algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, the Twitter algorithm, and every social media site, that once somebody presses like, it's working against you to not show everybody your content. An average Facebook reach is about 10%. If you have 1,000 people on Facebook, about 100 people will see it. You run a competition, you'll get those numbers up and go, ooh, back down again. It's always working against you. If you have really highly engaged people, that's great because you've got a great photo and that worked, or a great video. You've got to work hard to keep them up. It's always fighting against the power of gravity, and gravity is because they want you to pay to boost it. If you can't work out how to do it with great content, you can just press the boost button. It's really easy. So it's always working against you. If somebody signs up to an email and you're using a system that is reputable and it can get to them, 100% of people get it. They'll get it. They necessarily won't open it. When's the last time somebody sent an email out to a good list? This morning? How big's the list? 215. You go on about 2 hours later to check the open rates. The percentage of the open rates for this newsletter were 35. Would you high five? You're in digital marketing now. Would you high five a 35% open rate? Yeah. On a small list of engaged people, 35% is above average. What system do you use? Check. What's a good open rate? Name the industry, tell me a good open rate.
Normally 20-30% is so
yeah.
Particularly above 30%.
Yeah.
Do those programs that register that, do they tell the difference between opening an email and just clicking mark as read?
Mark as read. Do click mark as read or deleting it. So if you open it, and I'll talk about some of these programs in a moment, if you actually open it, it sends a little bit of script back. When it loads the pictures, it says this has been opened. That's an open. So I want to look at opens and click-throughs. So you need to make sure that your content is as relevant as possible to your followers. Everybody could use an email newsletter. Every different type of business. Not every different type of business has time to do it though. So in the prioritization of your daily content game, you need to think, how much time can I invest in this to make something that's relevant, up to date, that people actually want to read. But remember, this is the little inbox reminder, and we're probably only going to get about 20 to 30% of people opening it each time. In the same way in social, we're only going to get about 10 to 15% reach on average.
I was just going to say, that's sort of my question was, because I sent out last week an email to my database.
What system do you use?
MailChimp.
Yeah.
And we had 900 people open it and look at it, but I don't know if
Do you have, so for what part of your business? For Snow Fitness or?
This is for hiking fitness.
Yeah, cool. Are they paid members or are there anyone on the list?
They're just on the database. They're
Cool.
being a member.
So split your list into current members and non-current members and see the open rates between those two. There's someone that's engaged and someone that's not. It'll probably be different, and you could probably be actually offering the come back to the gym special as opposed to the get engaged more often. You do segment your list? Yep. So go into your system and actually have a look at your list and have a look at what they're doing. Numbers are really useful to tell you how to change and improve. But if you've got a 60% open rate, so what? It's just a number. Your job is to actually improve that. What can I do to get a higher open rate? Or what can I do to get better click-throughs? Because one of the aims of your email newsletter shouldn't just be to inform people, should be to engage them. So can we get them to click through to our website to actually do something next? Or take up or convert or use an offer? Here's 10 steps. Why is it 10? Because it's a bit more than reviews, and there's a bit more involved in reviews, and I think you need to invest a little bit more in time. But by the time you come down here, testing, setting, monitoring, where's the com? Oh, back here, this is for you. In multiple levels of awesome. Here are repeatable steps. The first one is you just set and forget. Once you've got some goals, done your schedule, found a system, that can be an annual process. Down here, capturing your audience, creating your content, designing your email, testing, setting, monitoring. This is repeatable. So steps 4 to 9 are repeatable each time. Number 10, of course, can be repeatable, but how do you know that you're awesome? Well, it's how is email actually contributing to my bottom line and my marketing efforts? Am I getting people through the door? Am I getting people talking about stuff? Are people coming and saying, hey, I read that thing, but that's pretty good. One of my ultimate tests is when we send something out to clients, and I go, I read that article on that. Great. Now you know something else because that article was designed to provide you with some knowledge, get you thinking about it, and I can guarantee within 2 or 3 months, we were talking about that in terms of why we're doing that in your business. So it was about informing or educating. Sometimes it might be about recruitment. So you put it out on social media, we're looking for people, put it out on an email because they're in a different space when they're reading that email than they are flicking through on social media. We're looking for people to join our team, come and join our team. Might be for recruitment, might be for advertising, dirty old advertising, might be for education. You need to think about some of your goals and what you're actually using email for. Don't just do email. Use it for achieving one of your marketing or your communications purposes. And then when we come down to create your content, and I'll talk about that in just a second. How much is too much? It's the 3 bears. It's the 3 bears, right? Email burnouts. You know, on motorbikes, email burnouts. Have you ever seen an email burnout? No. It's when you press unsubscribe. People go, I'm over this. If you unsubscribe from something, does that mean your full relationship with that business is normally over?
No.
No? No, it doesn't. But sometimes it can feel that your sort of first step to breaking up. Because you want to know less about them and you want to kind of ignore them and you're putting them to the side. Has anyone ever set up a rule in the inbox that says newsletters and you put all your newsletters over to the side and you've stopped reading them or engaging with them? If you want to deal with inbox stress, that's a really great tip, by the way. You just set up rules for all of your newsletters and find time for you to actually get involved. But you need to actually find what's right for you. If you send it out once a year, you go, oh, how do they still have my address? You send it out once a week, you go, why do they still have my address? I've got to get off this list. For your business, what do you think would be just right? What would be the Goldilocks answer?
Frequency?
Yeah, frequency. 1 a month? Why? Because a month sounds good, or that's when they need chiropractic goodness?
That is, what's the content that you're going to be feeding them? And then you're probably going to have to decide.
So internally from your business, are you going to be able to come up with information once a month?
Yeah.
Probably. Did you just give me that might be 6 to 7 weeks? Look.
When are you going to start on this week?
Tomorrow. How often, Bruce?
Once a week.
Once a week? Is that what you currently say?
In winter, yeah.
Wow.
So thinking about your seasons, you might actually go once a month in the off, once a week, yeah? Quarterly?
I would target before the winter season, before families come down. Get that right out because they don't really often have their babysitting year or like they don't need to be coming again until January next year.
Yep, stay in touch. Yeah? Got it?
I think about 6,000 on the database and they're all segregated and every time I've got a listing that suits that person, it goes out automatically, I can tell.
Yeah, real estate, airlines, travel agents, they own email direct marketing. And it's about having the right person for the right product and connecting them via email. Definitely, I guess you don't have to be thinking down to that granular level, but that's the way to do it. The frequency that suits the person that's interested to the right level, but the segmentation of that list.
Having the right software, we can tell how many people open emails, so if someone's opened properly 2 or 3 or 4 times, they're the guys you're going to ring up.
Yeah, you've got more leads. We're going directly into CRM marketing there, right? So customer relationship marketing and or client relationship management. You need to have a think about what works best for you, and I'm happy to keep it on another level. Once a week, Bruce, what would you talk about once a week?
It's different. So this week we did one on pre-season sort of sale, and then we'll do some other stuff on things to learn, things like equipment.
Yep.
And focus each week on specific sort of things, and then try and monitor what we're getting hits on, not what sort of reactions we're getting.
Yeah. Cool. It's about finding the right frequency for your business by testing it and actually trying and working it out. Just because someone has an unsubscribe doesn't mean it's not too often. They might be deleting or ignoring it. So look at your open rates, look at your click-throughs, as well as unsubscribe as an indication of that right timing. Test and try. Move it. Different time of day, different day of the week, different time of the day. So actually have a look at when would be the best time for you to read an email, do you think? What time of the day?
I've heard Tuesday lunchtime is the best time to send an email out.
What's the best?
To business people,
Yeah, for tourism, it's Wednesday after lunch. Coming through to the late period planning, no one's interested in thinking about where to go on a Monday or a Tuesday. They're recovering but by the time they get to Wednesday, they're hating their job again, and they think we've really got to get away. But remember, we're not just thinking for that week, we're thinking just for the right period of the time. When would you want to hear about a gym? What time of the day would you like to hear about a gym?
Anytime.
Wrong?
Morning.
What time in the morning?
6 a.m.
Thank you. 10 o'clock, but I haven't done any since last night.
Not before bed.
Yeah? Think like that, right? Think about when is going to be exactly the right time of the time and day to land it. When somebody is A, most receptive to the message, B, willing to be distracted by that little ding, oh yeah, I'll have a look at that. And 3, most likely to act, because this is what we're trying to use email to actually do. You need to build lists, right? You need to build lists. Please never take someone's business card and put it on a list. I will punch you. I'll personally punch you in the arm, not in the face. But don't do that. It's just, that's not opt-in marketing. That's just taking someone's business card and putting it on a list. That's really bad. Opt-in marketing, and that's the law in Australia. By law, really it should be a double opt-in under the Spam Act 2001. I've read it, so you don't need to. And the reason why you sign up to something sends you an email and you have to confirm, that's a double opt-in. You might have a list from somewhere else that they have given you explicit permission. If you're ever asked to show them permission, you'll need to actually produce that list. You'll need to pull it out and actually show them by law. Someone should always be able to be removed from a list as well, so that's why you need good software. But think about how you're going to build it. Who hates pop-ups on websites? Who hates them? Hates them. Cool, alright, for the haters out there, I need to let you know that they work for a percentage of the population, and one of the quickest ways to actually increase your website mailing list, if you're willing to do it, is to have a pop-up on your website. I know it doesn't make sense, but they work. I was a hater until I listened to, again, an American, and I go, I will never have a pop-up on a website. And I spoke to him and he goes, I was exactly the same as you and I did it. And he goes, don't be an annoying pop-up person, but just land it at the right time, about a minute after they've been on the site. If they've pressed X, don't show it again. Like, are you doing all this? Yes, you can do it all, just do it. Ding, 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 ding. Like, we've stopped doing in-person email sign-ups because the website is so useful and cost-effective for doing it, for a percentage of people. Because if you X out once and you're not a hater yet. What you actually mean by you hate pop-ups is I hate annoying pop-ups and dumb pop-ups.
Press OK to cancel instead of press cancel to cancel.
Dumb pop-up. One that comes up repeatedly even after you leave, dumb pop-up. Don't be a dumb pop-up business. Don't be that person. But seriously consider it as a great sign-up tool because as soon as you start growing your list, again, we've got more people to talk to, more people to send to. Good images, we've talked about it, balanced content, relevant information to the target list that we've grown over time. Short messages with a read to, don't have it war and peace, don't have a big long article, give them something to look for, use the social media theory. A great image, something short, the people that want to click for more information will, and then you'll be able to capture them on your website, you know that they're warm leads. More links. When you're writing an article, link the title of the article, put a link in the first sentence of the article and finish with a link. Link the image, have 4 ways to get to the same place, and you'll actually get more clicks. Because people have been trying to click all of that stuff for ages and they haven't been able to. You're all hoping they get to the last thing that says, click here for more. No, don't be that last click person. Build it in there. And if they never get through your email newsletter because they've got to your website, resolved. Make sure that what they've got there engages them, you're getting that 2 or 3 minutes extra. My feeling is you're probably only going to get about 1.5 minutes out of somebody in an email. I want to show you something crazy that we've done that kind of works. An email newsletter article about Facebook. What's been happening on Facebook? Every time Bust Over Markets does this, they get 10 new likes on Facebook. Within minutes from that article, I can watch the link clicks. So they've got 11,500 people on their Facebook, so it does make a big difference, but it all counts. That action, we can tell people like, oh, I wasn't connected on the Facebook, we've got them on email, now we've got them on Facebook. So what's been happening on Facebook, you're remarketing your marketing. And because Facebook churns so quickly, some people don't even see a lot of the things that happen there, but then they're cross-promoting it. So have a think about different ways of getting information in there. MailChimp's good, I believe Campaign Monitor is better. If you want to, I know Matt uses Active Campaign, which is also linked at response-based emailing and dynamic emailing, depending on somebody's action with your website, and then it influences what they get on the list. This is next level advanced stuff. Check it out if you want to get into it. I like Campaign Monitor. It used to be an Australian company, now they're based in the States. These are okay. We have a agency version of Campaign Monitor that we use with our clients. We call it 3Mail because we're such fantastic, amazing marketers. Email 3. This is a little tool that will be used to capture email addresses on the Destination Jindabyne website, Fiona. So one of the things that you can do, and that I had in the list, was content capture. Offer something in return for an email address. For me, industry standard, it's going to cost you about $5. So this is just a mock-up, by the way. So this is just having a little bit of fun. But on the Destination Jindabyne website, you want to download the guide for 100 great things to see and do in Jindabyne, give us your email address. Get something in return for free. The industry average is it costs about $5 to get a name onto an email list, about $5 of your time or your effort or your money. I've cut it a lot of different ways trying to prove that it's more or less, and it keeps coming back to about $5. So if you're wanting to get 10 people on the list, $50 worth of effort, have a think about it. This is going to be one of those tools, the term that's being used is a lead magnet, to actually get email leads, to get people on the list, so then you can email them over time and keep them up to date with what's happening in Jindabyne. Because if they just get all the information and we don't get their details, we never see where they come back. We'll never see whether they come back. So just have a think about, is there something on your website that you can give away with value to capture that email address? Again, it's just a different tactic. Might not be the tactic that you choose, but people will do it. Have you ever signed up for anything to get something, a free download for something? A white paper guide? Sorry? Thousands. White papers, learning, education. Anything, guys, that you can think of? But have you ever used your email address signing up on a website? Oh, sorry, to get download a guide on Instagram. Okay, yeah. Learning, education, perceived value, things like this, access to something you couldn't get otherwise, a curated list of all the good things. Think about that. What's something that you could do? Move the huts, right?
In terms of an email list?
Yeah. Now, if you wanted to get someone, if you had to return something of value, and it's a small guide, what could you do a guide on?
Can't think of any.
Trout secrets.
Potholes in the road.
Secret spots.
Trout fishing secrets of the Snow Mountains. So it might be stuff that you already know, but compiled it into an easy to read guide for people that like easy to read guides. It's for getting people to sign up. It needs to relate back to your business, needs to have something to do with how that's actually providing value. I just wanted to touch very quickly on some content planning, and it's going to be very quick tonight. But I just wanted to introduce you to the concept of thinking about content that's planned, rather than stuff that you're pulling and always wondering where the next idea is going to come from. I was doing some training today which reminded me to stick this in, but this is a very rough guide to pulling together some structure for what you're actually doing. Starting with content pillars or themes, and I talked about this very briefly in the last session, but thinking about what are some of those core themes in your business. Bruce, what are some of the core things in your business that you could talk about? 4 or 5 different top-level, big picture concepts. Equipment, so that's the pillar.
Lessons.
So education, how-tos, yep, education.
Wise, just experience sort of stuff.
Experience. Yeah, so expertise. Yeah. Expertise. Expertise and local knowledge, that could be a pillar. Yeah.
Unique sort of stuff to do with the business.
What about actual destinations and locations as a pillar?
Well, that's what I mean. You know,
Yes.
it's unique to the Snowy Mountains, and you know, this is the only place you can have those experiences.
Yeah.
Use that sort of stuff.
So locations, yeah. Destinations, yeah. And
the people.
People, that's exactly what I was going to say as the last one, because people do business with people and how to tell that story around people. So we come up with those content pillars, and under those 5, you're taking notes. Under those 5, we come up with our story ideas. What's 3 ideas under each of those story pillars about people, 3 ideas about destinations, 3 ideas about gear. And then all of a sudden we've got 5 main themes with 3 stories under each. We're already up to 15 different stories that we can be using for email newsletters, that we can be using for website blogs, that we can be sending off to the guys at Destination Dinnerbine to put on the website. They can be using social media. Is there going to be a photo, a video that goes with that? Mixing up and creating some balance? And what platform are we going to send it out via? When is it going to go? And how's it actually going to get up there? I want to give you an example of some pre-written content. Have a guess who that content is for.
Interesting.
Yeah, just cuts. So you can pre-write some of your content as well. Doesn't all just need to be on the spot, made up. If you know about those major themes, and you can actually pre-write some of your content when you've got a little bit more time, then all you're doing is filling in the gaps with flexible or on-the-spot content. I've got our content plan ready to go and filling it in. I'll share with you an Excel template for writing your content matrix. You can put all your themes in, put your stories in. A lady that runs a cafe in Wee Jasper, there's 80 people that live in Wee Jasper. She runs a cafe mainly for locals. She started on a concept plan like this. She's 72, says that she can't use the internet much. Pulled out a content plan and showed me this last week in another digital training session that we're doing. And I said, well done, and everyone else just sat there and looked and felt a bit ashamed that they hadn't started on theirs. And she goes, no, but this way I can sit down and talk to the staff about it, they can contribute their ideas, they can tell me where my ideas are all been stupid. And I just laughed, and I said, whatever you use it for, it means that you've thought ahead, you've planned ahead, and you don't get that anxious moment saying, what do I post, what do I say, where is it going to go? Content can be planned. Content can have structure. We talked about timing and scheduling, when's the best time to send emails, you know, when can we, there's no better or worse time to get reviews, by the way. There is definitely, you know, better times where you'll get more engagement on social media. But having a think about it in advance and looking at your analytics. Has anyone Googled my business lately? Your business, not my business. If you haven't, this is a quick tip for everybody that hasn't. Google.com.au/business. If you don't already know that you own your Google My Business listing, I'll show you what one looks like in just a minute. You need to go to this page and click Start Now up here. It'll say, what's your business name? You type it in, they go, you're already on the map. Here, do you want to claim it? You go, yep, and you can claim it. So step number 2 in the reviews process was claiming all of your sites and updating them. Google My Business. Here's a Googling of a business.
I know that one.
So you own your page, right? Your Google My Business page?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Well, I set it up, I guess that means I own it, I don't know.
You did, you own it. So you hear the reviews, see how reviews pop up? Surely you wrote one of these. Brett was a wonderful host, and I can't wait to bring back my family next time. They're naming him.
Family.
So Google chooses which reviews go up here. You can't choose. And an awesome place to stay. We stayed in the gorgeous Lake Hut in winter last year. Right now, your reviews are contributing to your Google My Business page. It says 8 Google reviews, they're all 5-star here. And interesting, it hasn't actually picked up. It's actually prioritised your Google reviews over your Facebook reviews.
Yeah, well,
it pulls Facebook reviews in here, and for other businesses, it will actually show. You've got Facebook reviews switched on, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will actually say Facebook reviews here. You can click them and they'll go through to Facebook reviews as well. So where's the rhyme or reason in this? There is none. Google chooses what it displays and shows, but it will always prioritise Google content over any other site.
The interesting thing I found with Google Plus is when you put the photos on there, it definitely increases the amount of visitation that you get, but it also has your contact details, you know, and all the other details of your how many people have searched.
Yeah, you'll get click analytics.
Yeah, so once a month they send you a report saying how many
people have looked at the page, how many people have accessed your phone number, how many people have clicked on your listing.
Yeah, and it's about 100 a month, so it's worth.
It's worth doing.
Yeah.
2 of those will be mine. See this as well? This is what I also wanted to show you. Why do reviews matter? Because on Google, on organic listings, so see that? That's the Facebook link. That's the Facebook reviews, 34 reviews. They now show sites with reviews and listings in with the organic listing in Google to make a bigger and fuller picture. This is why reviews matter. So right now, which of those links are standing out to you? The ones with the stars. Purely just because they're different colour. But that's what Google wants to do, is attract your attention. Here's another example. When there's multiple locations, you can out-optimise the other locations by having more better reviews. 27 reviews, 4.7 overall, 4.3, 4.3, 4.0. 4.2 is down here, but that's 6 reviews. Here's 24 reviews. So a high score and a high quantity of reviews, you'll climb up the list.
It's actually not real good though in some respects. If you've got, say, 20 reviews and they're 5-star, and someone's got 35 reviews and the average is 4.5 star, they'll be above you.
Yeah, and Google doesn't actually say exactly how they optimise things or not. I can guarantee that if you've never advertised with them, or you're advertising right now, you will come up the top. But TripAdvisor actually give you a better insight into how they're ranking and rating algorithm works, whereas Google doesn't. So
The trouble is that they're not differentiating between, they just put restaurants and they'll put a coffee place in there. Cafe Daria for about 7 or 8 years has been #1 on TripAdvisor for this region. Birchwood just overtook it recently because they've got lots of reviews.
yeah,
They're not really the same business to compare.
Yeah.
They're eateries, and you find a lot of that, and there's even worse.
it's not accurate.
No.
Yeah, so accuracy is something they're always trying to improve. It was Michael from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I did this for him. He needs to put one of his own. I think he actually. What's his surname?
Joe?
Follow Faye. Like Michael's
Joe's
Joe's.
Garage.
And he may have put this photo up, but that's the first photo you get for Trader Joe's. Not the most inviting image. That's pretty nice, the outside view. By the way, you can take your own outside view photos. You can download the Google Street View app, and you can do outside panorama photos now that's used to take expensive kit and expensive equipment by doing a panorama shot. And you can upload it to Google My Business page and improve the average bog standard photos that they've put up there for you. You can also do stills. But that was a good segue from Brett. So you need the stats, you need the numbers. The Google My Business page, you've got numbers. Google Reviews, Facebook, you've got numbers, you've got your insights. Google Analytics, you've got insights. But making sure that you actually use those insights to inform you and tell you what the best content is that's actually performing. If you develop those content pillars, came out with your stories and then put them live, working out where you're getting the best reach, but also the best engagement. So this might have got the best reach, but this post here was half the reach, but 3 times the engagement. This was then video, it went even further. So having a look at a combination of Facebook to say, all right, the combination of video or photographs, the combination of the type of content I've been posting, the combination of the time or date, what's actually working, what's getting me the best engagement, using analytics to help tell the full story. What's the time of day? What's the day of the week that you're actually getting good engagement? That's kind of pointless for day of the week because they're all the same. But time of day, that's 7 o'clock through to 9 o'clock is where we're getting the highest number of engaged users during this time. So I should be scheduling content to go out at that time and play to some of those wins.
One shot. All my bills on Facebook.
Is that when stuff goes out in your office?
Yeah.
Think about your audience. Schedule it for when your audience is going to be in house hunting mode. So over breakfast, we really should do something about this house. Over dinner, we really should be doing something after dinner. Have a think about landing that time, but using your analytics and your insights to actually inform you. Having a look at the pages that you're actually getting the best traffic to and what people are actually interested. This is going to tell you what content is actually converting the best. If you don't have Google Analytics on your site, you need it. Set up a Google account, go to analytics.google.com, I've put the link in here, and integrate it on your site. Even better, if you want to go full tech, there's a thing called Google Tag Manager. It's a piece of code that you put on your site that you can put other things into your site without having to have a lot of technical knowledge, Google Tag Manager. But what analytics will allow you to do is see changes and trends over time. That's what I'm really interested in. These actions that you're actually taking to improve your content and working out what fits in where. How's it actually affecting the involvement of your customers on your social media site, on your website, over the counter, in the chats that you're having? How's your reviews changing? I started by talking about digital footprint one workshop ago, and now today we're actually talking about things like review sites. I've been talking the whole time about partnerships with other businesses, local listings, content and distribution, information on other people's sites. That's where Destination Ginnerbine fits in here. Improving your photos, video, written content on your site is all going to affect your search rankings and search rankings is going to lead to visitation to your site. Don't forget email. It might be old, but as long as it's still engaging, there's still value in it. Think about your conversions and sales. We didn't touch on any of that, but your website has to do something. So can they book, can they buy, can they pick up the phone, can they contact you? We had a bit of a debate earlier about contact forms. There is no debate about contact forms. By having a contact form on your site, you will get more structured and better inquiries. More people will use it. You'll be surprised. It's just form theory. Have it up there, watch people use it, and ask them the right questions, and they'll self-serve. They actually do more information for you, so they come in better qualified. And social media is a big part of it. This hasn't been a social media course. You've probably heard, seen, read, done a lot of different things. This has been about content that you can use to help improve your business. I asked you to find that one thing that you can get started with from either workshop 1 or workshop 2. It's 7:30. If you have to run, do it now before you admit to what that one thing is that you've got to do. I've noticed that some of it is go. What's the one thing that you think you can do down at Wild Brummy?
Oh my gosh, everything.
One. No, one. Has to be one. One.
Well, we do lots of it little ways, so really, you can just be doing more of, particular things, I guess. Really.
Yeah. Video?
Yeah, video.
Welcome to the problem of everything. You could be doing everything, but everything normally will overwhelm you and may lead to nothing. What's that one thing, Nicole, that we've talked about? You could be doing one thing out of these 7 different topics that we've talked about. What's one thing? What's the first thing?
Oh, video.
Video?
I think video.
Of?
Everyone should be doing videos.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anything.
Just get amongst it?
Yeah, just get it up
Alright,
there.
if anyone can get more detail in your answer,
Just start.
that'd be great. Bruce?
So that's video content. So,
About?
basically, to showcase what we do that makes our business so special.
Under which pillar?
Under which pillar?
Because you're not going to talk about yourself, you're going to talk about expertise or people or destinations.
It's mostly the people actually what we want to focus on.
Yeah, increase that engagement with people. Over at Bimble Gumby, what's one thing?
Oh, I've got to go way back. I don't even have an email list. I've just got thousands of emails of guests, but I have never known how to use them.
Alright, if your list is older than 2 years, normally it's considered to be dead and buried and too spammy.
Oh, it'll sound
However, I have seen a campaign that somebody took 21,000 emails. They may not have been called Visit Canberra. I'm not going to admit to who that was. And they never emailed them because it was such a pain to do it. They put it in saying, we've got your email from somewhere, we don't know where. If you want to jump off this list, do it now. Otherwise, if you're interested in Canberra, we're going to keep you up to date with things, and we're actually going to run a competition to encourage people to get more interested in Canberra. Let's go.
Yeah.
They kept about 13,500 names on that list from memory.
Okay.
But they got a mass unsubscribe because there was just random lists from everywhere.
Well, these are all my guests. Apart from the fact I never kept it up to date, I don't know how to start. And I know you've given lots of information here, but I think I will ask somebody else.
So get some help now, and you've got some of those ideas.
Yeah.
It's
Who
about
do I go to?
applying some of those ideas.
Couple of guys here.
Shop locally.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Well, probably the thing that sort of resonated most with me tonight, if I could create one positive, out of all the stuff you've talked about, it would be to sort of wave a magic wand and create some sort of cooperative where I forget the fellow's name down there that's got the focus. Matt. Someone like that that's got digital marketing experience. Someone like that Brad Lister that was here that's got technical experience.
Yeah.
Someone, what were the other,
Duncan.
the which, Duncan. So,
Fiona.
yeah, Fiona with the Fiona with the social media site, Nicole with the websites and that. When you talked about businesses sort of cooperating together,
Yep.
that word, I can't remember what it was, but if people that have got businesses like this, like the people in the room, I know for me the frustration over the years, not being a technically minded person with all this stuff, is the search to try and find someone to do what you know from going to all these workshops that you need to do, but not being able to do it. You get frustrated, you go away all invigorated from something like this, thinking I'm going to do it, and then you just hit hurdle after hurdle,
Yeah.
and it all just fades. If there was someone in town, 4 or 5 key people like those ones you just talked about that had some sort of they don't have to be running a business together, but if they were just cooperatively sending people, I can do this part of it for you, teach you how to get Instagram or Facebook or whatever onto your website, if you have a website.
So the 4 or 5 businesses, I think one of the outcomes after the Destination Gender Blind website has actually been launched is go back and speak to these businesses that have been involved in doing it. They do it all the time, and this has been part of, I guess, sharing some of those ideas and planting some of those seeds. Engage these guys directly, have a chat to them, work out who can and who can't help you. But yeah, getting those referrals to get movement in the digital space.
I'm sort of closer. I know if I have a problem at the moment, you get on, you start ringing people and Googling, and it's so hard to get anyone. I've signed up some mob from Melbourne, that were sorting problems for me. They're $200 an hour.
Yeah.
There was a group running down in Corryong where I lived for a few years, run by the neighbourhood centre. It was called Technology Play Group.
Yeah.
So anyone who was floundering with anything, there was a day a week where there was about 3 hours where there were people there that were techie.
Yeah.
And you could just go in and ask questions.
Yeah, marketing masters.
Yeah.
Gordon, what's one thing that you can get on with?
By writing a review for the crew.
Do it. Do it tonight or do it tomorrow morning.
First thing.
Yeah. And go back to her and just say, if you had him incentivised me, I would have done it quicker and I can be bought. And then we'll get her on board. No, that's just poking the bear, isn't it?
Mine is a spin-off from last time, from 2 weeks ago. I've started, I thought I should keep my two businesses separate because I've got online managing, but now I'm linking everything. And I think it was stupid that I ever thought to keep them different.
But I'll tell you why you thought to keep them different, because you go, if I need to bundle it up and sell it off, it needs to be a totally separate brand. Was there ever that thought in your head? Oh, that's what normally happens when I talk to people.
No, but it was just two things. But my positivity is I've already the last week started with my partner pages and both with my website on it and linking more local businesses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. One thing to get started with? So I'll upload the template and it'll be tomorrow, and I'll get these guys to send the link out so it'll be in the next couple of days. But do it. Sit down, and if there's somebody else that can help you, is there someone else in your business that can sound off? Develop it and sit down with someone else in your life and say, this is what I'm planning on doing, what do you think? Just sanity test it. Sounds good.
I was in marketing stuff, so this is like doing all of the marketing PR for school. Video stuff actually scares me a little bit. But last week I just started putting stuff up and I wouldn't say the quality is anything that good. It's gone
It was great.
quite well. Yeah, and then and more just the fun stuff, like kids fun stuff. And then tomorrow we're going to live streaming our creative sessions. So I guess that's one for parents that can be there, but also quite a big body.
What are you live streaming with?
Well, at the moment it's on our phone, and then our IT guy has like a
Just Facebook Live?
Yeah.
Yeah, how easy is that? No.
I don't know.
You don't need a big setup. Facebook Live, go for gold.
Yeah, and then we're also mixing in like a local videographer.
Video Shinonski, you've just described live streaming, engaging a specialist, we're doing it ourselves, we're putting it in social. What's one thing? Real photos. Thank you. Guys, what's one thing you can say?
I just had a look at my Google business listing and the photo is from Google Earth. It's about 10 years old and it's completely different now.
So you claim it, make sure it's linked to an account that you've got and update it.
Probably email subscription sites, like I've used MailChimp before.
Yeah. The reason why I like Campaign Monitor, I actually think it's got a better coding language and a nicer templates. But MailChimp is fun and friendly. You can't fold it. So it's totally up to you whichever way you go. Final question? No, point?
I don't know, but what are your thoughts like on these white papers
Useful conversation. Can you tell me why you've done the 100 things in gender life, Fiona?
Oh, I like the idea of putting 100 things together.
But it's about creating convenience, it's about curating it and things, and I guess the white paper, the learning piece is always curated by an expert, right? So you don't spend time doing this stuff if you don't know about it. So it always allows you to position your expertise, especially for schools. It's about saying, this is what we know about and these are things you can consider. It's technically just a more in-depth brochure, isn't it? But it's not about selling, it's about the exchange of information or education. Have a think about it, how it's going to improve or continue to improve somebody's knowledge, because if it doesn't, if it just sells to them, don't have it available to download with email, just say download our brochure here.
That's, I think, what we're trying to do is just make it really authentic and move away from the brochures and the prospectuses and the, I don't know, stuff.
Yeah. We're about to do a guide, everything you need to know to transition from year 6 to 7. We just want them to transition away from their school and into ours, but helping parents understand that it's a big move and how to prepare your child and how to prepare your life for this big move. And if you have to move schools, what are the things that they know about, because they've been doing it for 90 years. They've been helping kids transition for 90 years. So expertise and support, and they're the key messages that will come through in that. But realistically, they want to improve Year 7 enrolments. So they're going to be using multiple ways, and content is going to be one of them. So I'm happy to chat after tonight, after everyone's gone. Please go online and leave a review about another business. If you've had a crap time tonight, come and tell me. If it's great, go on to TripAdvisor. Marketing for dudes. No, but if you do ever get a chance to go on that one, I think it was brilliant. So get yourself over to Margaret River. Any tips for the ski season?
Have fun.
Yeah? No tips?
Wear a helmet.
Safety first, and if you need babysitting, if you want to stay fit,
train first, go see wilderness, get accommodation.
If you want to go trout fishing, if you stuff your back, wear my chiropractors. Everything you need is in this room, alright? Everything you need is in this room. Guys, I'm happy to hang around and answer a few questions, but thanks for coming. It's been fun. And like I said, if you've got information for the Destination Jindabyne website, you need to send it through to Fiona, you need to send it through to Nicole. Don't wait for the next couple of weeks, please do it in the next week, so that'd be great. If you don't know what we're talking about, go and chat to these guys right now.